Hey there. It's going to be my daily update for this is going to be March 11th. And the main thing that I'm thinking about today is I'm being kind of bad to my team. Like a lot of people and a lot of, we'll call them bosses or founders, are kind of like they just waste a lot of time having meetings that don't need to be meetings, rambling on for like an hour instead of the meeting being 15 to 30 minutes. My thing has always been the exact opposite. I don't give anybody instructions to do anything and just assume they know everything that I know and to read my mind. So basically, what we're going to be doing right now is three, maybe four parts, depending on what your point of view is. So the first part is every low leverage task is obviously going to be recorded with Loom and then transcribed. And I'm going to get about a bank of probably about 100 low leverage tasks, and those are going to be sent over to my VAs. So I'm hiring VAs from a company run by Ben Kaplan called noaccentcallers.com. I'm pretty happy with them, and if you want to, you can go hire him too. They're usually from Egypt, very good price, and actually very good. So that's one thing. So some examples of that are like collecting wins in the chat and putting them on the website, asking for testimonials, sending a daily content newsletter, sending a newsletter. What would be some other ones? Finding good performing tweets in the analytics to turn into videos, coming up with titles, coming up with thumbnails, like anything that could be done by someone who's not me is very good for that. So creating a Loom and then transcribing and making a real SOP, real checklist for each of that things. And it's going to make sure that everything gets done. The next thing I'm going to do is put in reminders to do all of this stuff. So I'm going to be using Slack workflows, and you can do them to trigger on a few different things, but mine are going to trigger on a certain time and schedule. So let's say, okay, the call recordings happen or the calls happen at Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, right? So Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, the Slack workflow goes in and asks them to update and upload and put it in the chat, for example, like that kind of stuff. So every single thing is going to have a reminder to the correct person, as well as the person who I'm going to call the verifier. It's like Joseph Stalin said, it doesn't matter who votes, it's who counts the votes, right? So it doesn't matter who does it, who verifies it in this context. So it's very, very important that we have a verifier, because I'm not going to be the one verifying these low leverage tasks. The whole point of this is to get me out of that kind of stuff so I can do nothing but YouTube ads and get client results, that kind of stuff. The next thing that I'm going to be doing is, I've touched on it in the past, but I'm going to be recording a Loom for like the entire team to watch when they get in. With the VAs and with some of my employees, it's different time zones, so it's not that practical to have a meeting, especially with Europe and Egypt when I'm in North America. But I'm going to have a Loom going over everybody's tasks for the day and what needs to be done and how to do it. Usually this will be maybe 15, 30 minutes, but I know that the amount of clarity it provides is going to save about 20, 30, 40 man hours of work per day, just not knowing what to do and that kind of stuff, because the team is getting kind of big and something that I've not done too well in the past. So to recap so far, the operations spreadsheet with the SOPs and the checklists, the reminders and the verifiers, and then that Loom. I think that if I do this, I'm going to be able to get probably 20 times more out of my team than currently getting. And I wouldn't say it's that bad to begin with. But in a remote setting, it's very hard to try to teach people to think like and prioritize properly. It's kind of like one byproduct of remote work, I think, is turns people into like order takers a little bit. Whereas when you're in person, you can kind of just by osmosis, if nothing else, you can train people to actually think like an entrepreneur, think like a business owner, where it's just not as easy when they're not around you in remote work because you're not just spending 8 hours per day with them type thing. And then I'm going to basically, in terms of actual deliverables, in terms of things that I'm trying to do, I'm going to be launching the basically 4 YouTube channels. So I have my main one that probably most people who watch this video at this point are subscribed to, and that's how they found this one. I'm going to do my main one. I'm going to do this daily updates. That's the one you're doing right now. I'm I'm going to be doing a daily Q&A, so just answering a question from my clients or from an email or from a YouTube subscriber. So that's going on already. And then I'm going to be doing a review. So like I see a lead magnet, I see an ad, I see a VSL, I see a webinar, I see a landing page, whatever. I'm going to review that and just say what's wrong with it, what I would improve, and just that kind of stuff. So the things that I'm working on are those 4 channels and a system with the VAs and my team to basically do all of that kind of stuff and just make it all perfect, as well as a system to launch my basically $1 paid trial of my high ticket mastermind. So something and a quote I really loved was you don't get sales to, or you don't get customers to make sales, or sorry, you don't make sales to get customers, you get customers to make sales. If I'm saying I love it, I should probably say it right. But a lot of people kind of view that backwards. They think the customer is, or they think the sale is the end result. But when you do this paid trial, and I'm doing it for $1, just the fact that they've whipped out their credit card and paid me for something, even if they don't convert then, just makes them a much more loyal subscriber, viewer, follower, fan, that kind of stuff. And it makes them much more likely to stick with my content and stick with like my stuff over time. And of course, more likely to upsell and stick with the future. Even a paid customer for $1 is going to be a lot better than a free opt-in any day of the week. And it makes it a lot very easier for them mentally to whip out their credit card, pay $1, see if this is even worth it, and then upsell if it is. So I'm going to have a basically 7-day trial version of my mastermind. And in my main one, you get 26 different systems and 26 different poppy boards with AI, and you get one-on-one calls. And this one, you're just going to get 5 and 5 just to try it out. And then if like it's going to be even better if you upsell, because you'll get one-on-one conversations with me twice a month, and you'll get better support, and you'll get basically 5.2 times as much systems and SOPs and poppy boards and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's a great way to do this, where I can basically get people to become customers at 20 times the rate I would anticipate, and then convert a similar amount over time. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing, and that's the kind of stuff I'm going to be launching. So to recap, I'm going to be managing my employees better, which is my current constraint, and I'm going to be launching those 2 things this week. And if I can do that this week, this is going to be a very, very successful week, in my opinion. So hopefully that provided some insight and ideas for you, and I'll see you next time.